So I was scrolling on Instagram last night and I noticed something interesting. I'm going to show you two reels, both in the same niche, photography/videography, both the same basic concept, but one takes advantage of a little retention hack, if you will, that, by the way, is not exclusive to photography and videography. You can do this no matter what industry you're in. And at the time of recording, this one reel has 21,676 views, and the other one has a staggering 1.14 million. So take a look at both of these and try to see if you can figure out which one has more views. Now, personally, when I watch these, I actually like the footage and the color in Megan's reel more. As a photographer and videographer, filmmaker, whatever you want to call it myself, this is actually something that I would rather see in my suggested feed. But I mean, again, look at the difference in the interaction between the two reels. I mean, you're talking 30 times more likes on this one than on the other one. Now, that being said, there are a ton of different factors to how your content gets pushed out and who it gets pushed out to. But when I take an in-depth look at these two reels, there are two major things that I notice. So the first thing I'm noticing is movement, and by that I mean specifically camera movement. It's not a lot, it's nothing crazy, and they're all actually more or less kind of the same clip. But because there's movement in each of them, it takes us a second longer to kind of grasp what's actually going on. Now, if you compare that to the reel where the movement is coming from the subjects or the background characters, we immediately recognize what's going on, and our minds just kind of immediately get bored. Now, the second thing I noticed is a little bit of tension. So if you watch Julia's reel, the hook is why color grading is key. So this implies that the footage is going to just be absolutely saved, 100% changed by the color grade. You're going to see a drastic difference. And then, and this is important, she added a countdown. So she gave you this buildup, right, of, okay, what's the big change gonna be? And then with the countdown, she added this extra sense of urgency, this rising action, and then boom, here's the final grade, here is the payoff that you've been waiting for. Now, compare that to Megan's reel, where the hook is just setting you up to see a before and after. It reminds me of one of the best pieces of advice for content that I've ever heard, which was, for long form videos, every 6 seconds needs to justify the next 6 seconds. For short videos, every 2 seconds needs to justify the next 2 seconds, which basically means that people are constantly looking for a reason to click off. So your job in the content you create is to constantly, every few seconds, make sure you give somebody another reason to stay. Here's another example of two reels, very similar niche, but very different executions.
Brands that hack into emotions. Coca-Cola doesn't sell soda. They sell happiness, friendship, and connection. Dove doesn't sell soap. They sell self-esteem, beauty, and kindness. Rolls-Royce doesn't sell cars. They sell status, luxury, and success. Red Bull doesn't sell energy drinks. They sell excitement, youth, and adventure. To become a memorable brand, don't sell a product. Sell an emotion.
I'm going to show you some of the marketing hacks that companies use to make you spend your money. We live in a world with an overabundance of consumption, and all of us at one point have spent money that we don't even have. So I'm Taylor, and on this channel I show you how to make, grow, and save your money. And the first way to avoid these tactics is to be able to recognize them.
Okay, so the reason I'm stopping here is because we are 19 seconds in and we haven't gotten any value. We haven't received any new information yet. Well, actually at this point, the other video is already restarted, because at this point in the other video, it's already given us the hook, it delivered what it promised it would, and it ended. Now, this fits perfectly with what I was just saying in the 2-second mentality. So if you have a video like this, here's what I would change. The first thing I would do is cut a bulk of the intro out. Narrow the hook down to 1 sentence. Describe what you're going to talk about, get right into it. Trim the pauses in between, like when we see her hit stop on the recording. And then at the very end, once you've given your value, that's when you say, my name is blank, I do or talk about blank, call to action, follow for more, subscribe, whatever it may be. So how does this help you get your reach back? Well, take a seat. It's time to have one of those tough discussions. You see, a lot of people online try to use the term algorithm as this like catch-all umbrella term, and they use that to blame when their content doesn't do well. But the reality of it is, no matter how well-intentioned or even valuable that content may be, it doesn't get the reach it deserves because of things like this. These are small changes that will make huge impacts on your content and your reach. So here is an outline and a checklist for your reels or shorts, any sort of short form vertical content that I've made based on trends that I've seen from watching a ton of high performing videos. The outline itself is actually pretty simple, and it goes like this. Hook, your justification and your tension, and then your payoff. Now, the justification and the payoff is usually what people end up getting wrong. Let me show you what I mean. So in Julia's video, right, we have the hook, why color grading is key. We notice what's going on in the background. We have the tension, which is the countdown, and we have the payoff. So now let's look at the Forex supplier clip, right? We have the hook, brands that hack into our emotions or your emotions. What do they mean by that? What brand? Then we have our justification / our tension, subverting our expectations. Coca-Cola doesn't sell soda. Well, what do you mean? Of course they do. I literally bought a Coca-Cola at 7-Eleven this morning. Then there's the payoff. They sell happiness, they sell friendship, they sell connection. So, oh, okay, I see what you mean. I don't buy Coca-Cola just because it tastes good. I buy it because I've always had it at barbecues, and when I go out to eat and blah, 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 I associate Coca-Cola with happiness, with friendship, with connection. And then they do it again like 2 or 3 more times for just immediate hits of like tension and then payoff, just immediate dopamine rushes. And most importantly, there isn't a second wasted in that video. So there you have it, right? That's the formula, that's the outline for how you should make your videos. Hook, justification / tension, payoff, and then at the very end, if you feel so inclined or if you feel like you need to, that's when you could say like, my name is blank, I do or talk about blank, follow for more, subscribe, whatever it may be. And now just some miscellaneous other things to look out for. My last minute little video checklist, if you will. First of all, ask yourself honestly, and emphasis on honestly, is there any second wasted in this video? Hey, you think we should cut that part out? Are there awkward silences that need to be cut out? Are you repeating anything that doesn't need to be repeated? Didn't we already do this bit? If you have text on screen, is it adding to your story or is it just distracting? So once you've done all that, you've really honed in on your hook to make sure it's so gripping that nobody can look away. You've got your cuts down, you've got your edits down, you have officially conquered the Instagram algorithm. Well, the Reels algorithm. If you didn't know, there isn't one algorithm. The Reels algorithm is just one of 5 different algorithms that Instagram uses to decide what content it's going to push to where and to who. So to take the next steps, be sure to watch this video right here because it breaks down each of the algorithms, how they work, and gives you actionable advice that you can start following today to get started taking your page to the next level.